Aloha, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Transform with Rian. And we are going to be doing a card pull, collective card pull, to get us in the vibration to find out more about how your future spouse is hoping to find you. So already I didn't even get to shuffling very much, but this card was ready to get us all in that collective vibration. So take a deep breath in and exhale out. And just find that inner calm and peace to receive this collective message to get us warmed up for your reading. We have be playful. Are you thinking too much or too seriously about a current situation? Take a break and be playful. Free your mind just like when you were a child. Be fun and excited. High vibes invite new ideas. So what I'm seeing for all of you, since this is a future spouse reading, is high vibes actually invite new love, new connection, new relationships here. So, as we try to manifest love into our lives, sometimes we want it so badly that in doing so, we actually carry that vibration of pushing it away. I know it's a little bit counterintuitive when you first start embracing this spiritual aspect of law of attraction and manifestation. But when you practice detachment, when you're just having fun and enjoying life and you're kind of not worrying or stressing about what you have and don't have, that's when things find an easier way to come into your life. Okay? So we'll get into this a little bit more as we go over the readings, but let's jump right in, all right? Let me put these piles to the side that I pre-shuffled, and we are going to start with you, group one. So welcome to your reading to how your future spouse is hoping to find you, all right? So let's reveal these cards and then we'll get into it, all right? So we have this beautiful heart card here. And it says, the past is now behind you. Release it and embrace new possibilities. A new path is now available to you. Follow it with faith. Let's put that here. Actually, I'm feeling like we should put this over here. Let me just make sure it stays in frame. And then we have these cards here. Gemini with cross-pollinate. We have North Node with future. Interesting. We have a reference about the future and a reference about the past right here and a new path leading into the future. Then we have fourth house, home. Oh, very, 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 very interesting. Let's make a little bit more room. Let's get this all nice and cozy. And we have Cornucopia, card number 11. Beautiful. I'm getting very strong like November vibes here. I wanted to say that before I forgot, because this makes me think of like the American holiday Thanksgiving, which is in November. And you also have storm warning, number 10. So I'm also actually getting fall energy, okay? So for those of you that haven't yet met your future spouse, I'm sensing like the coming fall season or autumn, wherever you live in the world, is gonna be a great time for you to connect. Or for those of you that are in a relationship, maybe it's this fall time that you're gonna get married to them or you're gonna get engaged to them, okay? So we have storm warning right here. And for your tarot cards, we have the World. Oh, that's amazing. We have Queen of Cups. We have the Death card. I feel like we're gonna run out of room, fam. We have the Page of Swords, so we'll just kind of stagger it a bit. And we have the Chariot. Okay, so how is your future spouse trying to find you? What I'm seeing here kind of as a big message is, you see how it says here, the past is now behind you. Release it, embrace new possibilities. A new path is now available to you. Follow it with faith. And you also have this future and you have this home card and cross-pollinate. So all these energies right here combined with the World and the Chariot leads me to believe that your future spouse is actually trying to meet you or trying to connect with you by traveling. traveling to a new place, or even moving to a new place. So that's kind of their vision of how they're going to meet you, is on their travels or in a completely new city, new town, new neighborhood. So I feel very strongly that your future spouse right now, they're in that phase in their life where they're just like, I can't be dealing with this anymore. I need a fresh start. I need a new beginning. I need to start all over again, and just leave everything behind. So there's kind of like this cleanup in their life right now, this overhaul where they are wanting to start brand new. What I'm hearing too, and what I'm kind of sensing, is there was like a lot of pain before, and we have this death card and storm warning here, and I'm getting this energy of they really suffered or struggled a lot in their past, whether that's like a distant past or more in the recent past. And this is part of that driving force for them wanting to have a fresh start, like go somewhere new. I mean, I can totally relate to this. That's how I felt for a lot of my life. I'm an army brat. Maybe some of you knew that if you've been with my channel for a while, but my dad was in the army, and so we moved a little bit more than most people do in childhood. And so I kind of took that pattern into my adulthood as well, where it's like I really didn't enjoy staying in a place for longer than maybe 2 to 3 years. And actually, like after like a year and a half or so, I would get that itch. Like I just need to move somewhere, try somewhere new. Like I would feel like I was getting bored. So your person, not saying that they're getting bored like I was, but they have that itch like I did. They have this like calling, this need to move and explore something else. I wouldn't actually be surprised either if this person maybe is like a digital nomad, or they are like a social media influencer. So any type of job or occupation or way that they can earn income by working remotely. Like they don't have to go into an office or some building to do their work. I really feel like they're that type of person. Maybe they had to settle down in a specific area for a while, and now they're just kind of like over it, like they're ready to move on. I don't get the sense though that they're that type of person that stays somewhere for like more than 2 or 3 years. Like they really, whether that's a company or a job or a physical location or home, like I don't really get that sense from them. Now, what else are we seeing here? I'm seeing here, I'm getting this message about kind of their interests and what they like to do. So one of the things that they like to do is learn, okay? I wouldn't be shocked if they consider themselves like a lifelong student, and it doesn't mean that they're necessarily looking for formal education where it's like they want to go to university or take courses online, although that could be the case. What I'm thinking more is like I see them doing like a lot of trainings or maybe a lot of retreats where they get to learn more about the world around them, or like new technologies, new trends, new fashions, new types of food, cuisine, like whatever is kind of like new. I feel like that they're into that new energy. They have a lot of future energy coming through. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a lot of Aquarius in their birth chart, if they're not a sun sign Aquarius, or a lot of Aquarius energy, or even like 10th house energy in their birth chart. So they're really, sorry, not 10th house, 11th house, excuse me, 11th house energy in their birth chart. So they're really kind of obsessed with what is the next big thing, what is like cutting edge technology, new techniques. So that's why they consider themselves a lifelong student. Okay, because they like learning new things. So maybe you'll even meet each other in like a cooking class, in like a seminar, in a conference, in a workshop, at a retreat. Again, those types of things. Because, to be honest, that's where they're really feeling like I'm gonna meet someone who's like-minded. All right, they're going to the places where the people that are similar enough to them to form that type of romantic connection or bond, where they think those people are gonna be. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, like if a person doesn't value like clubbing and going out to the clubs and get drunk and dancing all the time, like you're probably not going to meet they're probably not going to go there in search of a life partner or a spouse or a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not where they're going to hang out because that's not their interest. So that's part of why they are going into this learning thing. Now, with this cups energy, I'm really feeling that your future spouse, again, with their troubled and difficult past, they're really doing a lot of healing and sort of self development, self growth. So they maybe have a very spiritual or religious side to them. And that's because that's how they connect. That's like the medium in which they connect to spirit, to universe, to their higher self, all right, to their soul. That's what I'm getting with this Queen of Cups energy, is like this very soulful individual. And when someone experiences a lot of difficulties or tragedies in their life, they're like facing that shadow energy within. You know what I'm saying? And so they need to have a pathway or a guide to get to the light. So they've done a lot of inner work, inner healing. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they went to therapy, which I am a big advocate for, and retreats, like spiritual retreats. Maybe they do a lot of meditation even. Maybe they do a lot of like detoxing practices, whether that's dietary detox or like electronics detox, where they or they even just like do like people detox, right? Where they go out in nature. They go to a place where they have relative solitude so they can be alone with their thoughts and their own truths without any external influence or meddling. Do you know what I'm saying? Um, Now, what else I'm also feeling? I'm feeling something here with this cornucopia. This there there wants to be more information coming through. I see a confirmation here with this butterfly, which I never noticed before on this card. Oh, there's another one right there too. Wow. Oh my gosh, are there more? I feel like I want there to be three. I feel like that's a flower. Maybe there's just two. I don't know. It feels like a Where's Waldo thing, right? Or like, where's the other butterfly? Um, But what I'm getting here is this just represents and it confirms, these butterflies, this transformation on a very deep soul level that they've gone through, perhaps even more than once in life. So they're this very mature and evolved spiritual being, and they're looking for that in a partner as well. Someone who's gone through a lot just like they have and has that resilience, that strength, that fortitude to keep living life, to keep climbing, to keep pushing forward and wanting more and not, like giving up or throwing in the towel. So they're definitely in that mindset of wanting someone who has a similar energy of abundance. Okay, there we go. That's what it is, loves. That's what it is with this cornucopia. They're hoping to find someone who shares this desire and this belief that, hey, I deserve some really beautiful and wonderful things in my life. And the world, the universe is limitless and abundant. And I'm not living in that life of scarcity or limitations where I feel like I can't have certain things, I can't do certain things. And, there's all these barriers and obstacles and restrictions. Like, they don't want that type of energy. They want this energy of like, freedom here, okay? I'm also seeing here with this storm weather, like your future spouse also really values a lot of flexibility because they definitely feel like life can be a bit unpredictable, okay? And and part of like this sort of routine life is really not for them. Like, they're not that wake up at the same time every day, eat the same type of thing for breakfast, go to work, after work maybe go to the gym or run errands or go to a class and then come home and have dinner and then maybe watch some TV, read a book, then go to bed. Like, that's not their life at all with this storm warning, okay? Their life is just one big adventure. And as they've become more in tune with things spiritually, I feel like they are are more leaning into going with the flow of life, like wherever the wind takes them to some degree. Like, of course, they understand that they have responsibilities and they have to, make money some way, somehow, or whatever to pay bills and support their lifestyle and like their basic needs and whatever. But in general, they're that type of person, like they're not a scheduler. They're not much of a planner, and definitely not so much in the long term either. And oh wow, I'm getting this message too that your future spouse doesn't really plan anything around relationships or falling in love. To them, it will just happen when it happens. Okay? They have a lot of faith. Going back to our first card here, they have a lot of faith in this path that lays out before them. So it's like I'm seeing like this Hansel and Gretel thing where it's kind of like they just have these breadcrumbs laid out before them and they're just looking to find the next breadcrumb. They're not looking too far down the path or worrying about what's up ahead. Now, let's just get a few more cards. I feel like we can channel a message from your future spouse with some tarot cards here. Something that they want to say. Oh, okay. Something that they want to say to you right here, right now, since you're watching this reading, about how they're trying to find you, how they're trying to connect with you. Okay, so we have the Page of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, King of Wands, and Queen of Wands. Wow. Okay, so it's interesting that these are all court cards. Oh my goodness. So I'm getting a couple of things. They're really into this energy of fire and earth, okay? In general, these tend to oppose each other. Fire tends to go better with water. Earth tends to go better with water, and fire tends to go better with air. But for them, what I'm seeing is they like a sense of similarity to a degree, but they want someone who can complement them a little bit better, someone who will teach them new things, again, because they like to learn. So it could be that they want to attract someone that's a little bit opposite, like fire and water. Do you know what I'm saying? Earth and air. So they could be an air sign, or they could be a water sign trying to attract one of these energies, okay? Now, what I'm also seeing here is they're really looking for someone that they are just magnetically drawn to, okay? This like charisma, this spark, this draw, okay? Again, they're not very cerebral when it comes to love. It's not so much about like they're making a list of what they want and they're trying to like seek it out. It's just like, who attracts them? Who do they feel drawn to? Okay. And then here with the Pentacles, they want someone who's a little bit grounded, okay, to balance out a little bit of their energy of this like nomadic, wandering around, just following where the path takes us, looking to like the cool things in the future. Like their mind can be in other places. And not always in the present is what I'm hearing. And so they want someone who can ground them, someone who has that nurturing quality to them, but someone who's also like really, really playful and can like have a good sense of humor and can joke around and like play around and be silly. So that's what they're really calling in. That's how they're trying to find you, is by being in the types of places they expect to meet this person, living the kind of lifestyle that resonates with them, and just kind of going where spirit, universe, God, whatever you want to call it, guides them. Wow, so what a very interesting reading, loves. I hope this really resonated with you. If it did, make sure to like and comment down below. Definitely comment, I claim my future spouse. I welcome my future spouse into my life. So write that down below. I claim my future spouse. I welcome my future spouse into my life, to bring that energy, that magnetic quality to, so that they can find their way to you. And of course, if you love these types of readings about future spouse, future self, destiny, what all that stuff, tap that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future uploads. But before you go, always remember that it's never too late to have your happily ever after. Take care, love. See you next time. Hey there, Group 2. Welcome to your reading to find out how your future spouse is hoping to find you. So we're focusing a little bit more on their end. Like, what are they doing? What is going on in their life? How do they see themselves connecting with you? Versus maybe like the other way around, where we tend to focus more on your viewpoint when we do these types of future spouse readings. So let's find out more about them. What are they thinking? What are they trying to do here to find their way to you? You have this beautiful heart card to kick us off. It says, you may not always understand why certain things happen. However, there is always a higher purpose to the events in your life. Through turmoil, a blessing will soon be revealed. So I'm getting the sense already that your future spouse, if you haven't met them already, they have this feeling that they're going to meet you at just the right time. Kind of like maybe at a time when they need you the most. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just going to come into their life like a blessing, like a gift from the heavens, like an angel even, okay? What else do we have here for you though? We have Libra, balance. We have transits with climate. I'm hearing the word like storms and turbulence and turmoil. And I have 11th house, community. So definitely I feel like your future spouse, whether they intend to or not, it's kind of like when they're in this space of wanting help, wanting love, wanting connection, that's when they're going to find you. I'm almost feeling like in general, they're actually quite independent. Maybe they can be a bit of a loner. Maybe they were raised up in an environment where they had to be very self-sufficient and very independent because maybe they only had one parent in the household, or both their parents were like really busy at work. Maybe I'm also hearing that they could even have been an only child. So again, they were kind of conditioned and raised to be very independent, very self-sufficient, not to rely on anyone else. But, you know, no man or woman is an island. And so part of being a human being is having to interact and exist with others. Now, everyone has a different threshold for how much human and person to person interaction they can handle, or what if they're comfortable in crowds or not, or what have you. But they're finding that they're kind of in this place where they need to step outside a little bit of their comfort zone and seek out community. Okay? There has to be this balance where it's like, you know, we have these people who are like solitary and alone, and these people who are like constantly surrounded by people. And it kind of has to be this balance here. I have a feeling for most of you, your future spouse tends to be more on the loner homebody kind of spectrum here. But, you know, this is a general reading. So maybe some of you are more in this community realm, and maybe they just need someone to spend more alone time, one-on-one time with, you know, someone who will give them a reason to stay home rather than going out to party and do all these social activities, right? Now, what else do we have here? I have for you the Thinking Man and second chakra, Archangel Ariel. I'm really getting some more solo vibes from these cards, but hold on, let's just reveal all of them first, and then we'll dive right in, because I intended to do that, and then I got sidetracked with all these like messages coming through here. So we have the Three of Cups here, the Nine of Swords, we have the Ace of Swords, we have the Nine of Wands, and we have the Seven of Coins. Okay, so here we go. I am definitely feeling that your person really does have a lot of qualities of like that lone wolf, homebody kind of energy. I also actually feel like they're kind of a little bit awkward in social situations, and that's this turmoil energy coming through in another form. Like they get really nervous and anxious around strangers, new people, crowds, groups, right? And that's that turmoil. And so if they can put themselves in these tumultuous situations of being around other people, this blessing will soon be revealed, which is you, if you haven't met them yet. But perhaps if you have met your future spouse already, like maybe you met them at some kind of party or whatever, and they were that person. Oh my God, I see this cute little story. Like maybe they were that wallflower, or that really quiet person that is staying on the outskirts of the crowd. And then, like, maybe you bump into them or they catch your eye and you're like, oh, they look really lonely. Like, let me go say hi to them and help them feel welcome and help loosen them up and make them more comfortable. Like, I kind of feel that vibe from you. I definitely feel like you, if you're drawn to this pile group too, like you're more social than your future spouse. And maybe you're even just more social than other people in general. You know what I'm saying? But, with this Nine of Wands, this Nine of Swords, I just feel like so much nervous Nilly energy. Or is it nervous Nancy? I don't even know. It's like they just get a little anxious around people. Again, maybe because they're just so used to being alone. And, I'm seeing this card, and the word that came through is fear. And so one of their biggest fears is like being, it's not so much being in public, although it's like not their jam. It's kind of like, speaking in public or having people acknowledge them or recognizing them, like having people's eyes on them. Like they definitely like to fly under the radar and be like just a silent witness. They're very comfortable with being kind of like overlooked or ignored. Like that's kind of their energy. I feel too, as I'm reading these cards for you, loves, and this kind of breaks my heart a little bit, not gonna lie, is that they feel a bit alone. They feel like nobody really gets them, because here in this image, like I see this girl here amidst these swans, these or geese, maybe swans because they're white, and it's like they're the outcast, right? It's like, I don't fit in here, I'm like the odd one out. Like that's what I'm feeling here. They have this energy of being quite lonely. Again, I think it has something to do with the circumstances surrounding their upbringing. Okay, they feel a little bit misunderstood, maybe mislabeled even. I really feel like they're desiring deeper connections. They thought for a long time that they could go without it. Okay, but they're realizing that they can. And maybe for a long time too, they were really kind of hating or upset about like their past and their upbringing. And they were kind of in that mindset of like, why me? Why did I only have one parent growing up? Or why did my parents put their work before me and they never spent time with me? Why am I the only child? Like, why didn't I ever have a sibling or someone to play with? Like, right? They were kind of in that mindset here, and they really just desired connection. It's kind of like that's what they wanted as a kid, and then they never got it. And so as they entered adulthood, they just kind of were resigned. Like, okay, whatever. This is just my fate. This is just how it is. But now they're kind of emerging, and those childhood desires of companionship and connection are becoming like so loud that they can't really ignore it anymore. So they're hoping for this new beginning, new connections, new communications is what I'm hearing, like speaking. They want to be able to speak to people, to talk to people and not get nervous or feel uncomfortable or feel awkward or worry about other people judging them for what they have to say, how they look, like whatever. They really want to overcome some of these fears. And, going into these communities, whether that's like some type of club or going to the gym, even taking a class or a course, or going to a church or another religious kind of gathering or what have you, online community even, like that's them making these efforts to be a new version of themselves. And, they're starting to understand little by little, like why things were the way they were earlier on in their life when it was out of their control. Like they're trying to reconcile that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why did they have to be alone? Maybe it's because in this lifetime, they had to understand the importance and value of community, of connections. Like for who knows why, right? Like we can get into a whole discussion about past lives and past karma and all that, but that's not for this reading. So Here, with these cards, what I'm seeing here is that your future spouse has a very, very brilliant mind, okay? With this thinking man, it's kind of like they're that awkward genius. Do you know what I'm talking about? That sort of like character, that trope, that stereotype where it's like they're brilliant, but they're kind of odd, right? They're a little bit weird by like mainstream standards, and so they don't fit in very easily in groups of people or in crowds or at school, but they're brilliant. They are so, so smart. Um, and part of their brilliance is like, well, I know that the person that I'm going to connect with isn't just going to fall into my lap when I wish it. I have to do something and get out there. So their approach to being more interactive and speaking with people, it's kind of cute. It's kind of funny too. They're taking this very logical approach to it, where it's kind of like, for most people who know how to interact with people and how to just kind of talk and small talk and all that kind of stuff. Like they're not awkward at all. It's like second nature, right? But to this person, it's kind of like when they meet somebody, they're like in their head, it's like this process. Okay, shake their hand, maintain eye contact. Then I say my name. Then I ask how they're doing. And like everything kind of seems like this protocol, this step by step process of how to interact with others. It's really, really cute. It's not quite, let's just say that's not natural for them. Okay, let's just leave it at that. Now, here with the second chakra, I'm feeling that there's a lot of imagination, a lot of creative energy with your future spouse here. They have this brilliant mind with a lot of creative and imaginative ideas. I'm also getting this energy. At first I was thinking, like, are they like a scientist? Are they like a computer geek, a tech nerd, like whatever? Like maybe so. But there's something about their sort of line of work, their occupation, their purpose, whatever you want to call it, where they have this brilliant mind to be creative and imaginative, like, an artist that creates these beautiful paintings that are maybe even abstract or very detailed, or maybe they're like a filmmaker or a film producer where they have like this very artistic way of like camera angles, scene setups, storytelling. They could even be like a writer, like they have like very smart vocabulary, very smart words, I'm actually hearing like Mariah Carey. How many of you are Mariah Carey fans out there in the crowd? I feel like she's kind of lost a little bit of her popularity in recent years to this new generation. But, when I was younger and listening to her music, she would have like these crazy words like blatant and nonchalant. Um, yeah, like all these like words that when I was in elementary school, like I don't know what blatant is, I don't know what nonchalant is, and like those types of things. And I had to go look those up to understand what on earth she's singing about, which you don't hear too much of like crazy language and music lyrics these days, But I'm getting that kind of energy that they have very, very big vocabulary, and part of the reason why maybe they're seen as a bit awkward is because they don't speak in like common tongue or colloquially. They don't use like everyday language. Like they just kind of speak almost like in this very scholarly or textbook tone. Like, one of my best friends used to tell me like, can you just speak in like a normal voice, normal words? Like, can you just pretend I'm really stupid because I didn't understand anything you said? And like the language that I use, I just feel like it's natural, and I feel like a lot of people know the words that I use. But I found out that not everybody does, and that I need to maybe use different vocabulary or different words that help people feel like they can understand what I'm saying, okay? And it's definitely, I don't want to ever make anyone feel like they're stupid. That's like never ever my intention if I use words that maybe not everyone knows, But your future spouse kind of is like that in a way, And maybe that's why they have a hard time connecting with some people, because it's just the language that they use is not commonplace. But they're super duper creative. They're very imaginative. Maybe they even design video games or compose music. Oh my God, I mean, the video game thing just sounds so cool to me right now, because video games, since I was younger, just became so much more detailed and so much more elaborate, and the graphics are just insane nowadays. So much, they look so lifelike. I'm also seeing like the movie Avatar and Moana, where like the animation is like so good. And if any of you follow me on Instagram, which I don't really talk about my Instagram much, I follow a lot of these like art accounts, and like I post it to my stories quite often about these really cool artistic techniques, whether it's painting, sculpting, baking, whatever. It's like so big for me. But I wanted to give your future spouse an opportunity to share a message in this reading right now, exactly for you, to let them know about how they're trying to find you. Okay, so they're coming out of their shell, albeit very like slowly and very safely, very cautiously. They're coming out of their shell because they know that they have to put themselves out there in the world to meet people. So they're really trying to find their community and sort of balance that quiet alone time with community time. They're really getting over their fears right now. So we have Seven of Wands for you, Page of Wands, and Eight of Swords. So yes, they're really trying to free themselves with any limiting thoughts. And what I'm hearing is limiting thoughts around their self-image, okay? So they're trying to talk themselves up, saying like, hey, you're really cool. People really enjoy your company. There are people out there who get you, that will appreciate your personality, your sense of style, your interests, right? They're kind of pepping themselves up because so many people, and this is to me also a big tragedy, are very good at putting themselves down and criticizing themselves very harshly. I mean, I did that a lot. And, going to therapy and doing a lot of this spiritual inner work, meditation, inner child healing, past life regressions, all that stuff really helped me come to love myself so much more and be free of these thoughts and that are so judgy. So that's kind of where they're at. And I'm hearing that they would love it if you would be able to vocalize like what you like about them. Okay, they would really appreciate that, and that would go such a long way, even if it's just something like, hey, I like hearing your voice, or I like seeing you smile, or I like the color of your eyes, or I like that shirt you're wearing even, right? So they need that. They need this positive reinforcement. I'm getting to that, they haven't dated much, is what I'm hearing here. They haven't dated much, so I'm hearing too that, have patience with them and be compassionate towards them, as they maybe are worried they're going to stumble through the dating process because they don't know the rules, if there even are any rules these days. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the wild, wild west dating these days. And so just have some patience with them. They're kind of like a baby when it comes to dating. They don't have a lot of experience. And here, I'm getting the sense that they're very cautious. Again, they're like putting themselves out there very, very slowly. So again, things are going to move kind of slow with them, is what I'm getting. They need baby steps, all right? They have a brilliant mind. They can pick things up like intellectually really quickly. But when it comes to this social, emotional stuff, they need a little bit of help, okay? So, wow, what a lovely reading. Let me know what you thought of it. Like, comment down below. I claim my future spouse. I received my future spouse into my life to affirm these energies. I hope you learned a lot about them, and if you enjoyed this type of reading, you enjoy what I'm putting out here on this channel, make sure you tap that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future uploads about your future spouse, your destiny, coming surprises in your life, because that's what we love here at Transform with Rian. And then lastly, never forget that it's never too late for your happily ever after. All right, loves, you deserve it. See y'all next time. Hey there, Group 3. Welcome to your reading to find out how your future spouse is hoping to find you. So we're going to take a different perspective on these videos, and we'll see what your future spouse is doing, where they're at, how they're hoping to connect with you. So we have this beautiful heart card here to kick us off. It says time. You are trying too hard. Give it time. So I'm definitely sensing that your future spouse is for sure seeking love. Like it is a priority in their life right now. It's what they want. They see that partnership for them. I feel like they actually have also gone on a lot of dates. I wouldn't be surprised if they're on a dating app actually, because they're like, I'm ready. I want to meet my partner. I want to meet my future spouse now. And if you've already met your future spouse, maybe that's how you met, is on a dating app, right? And so they've met a lot of people, they've put it up priority, and they're just really ready. When I was, actively dating, I definitely came across people who were like, I want to settle down, I'm ready to start a family. Like that was what they wanted. And, at the time I thought that's what I wanted, and I really wasn't ready for that. And so I was more of like a casual dater, you know what I'm saying? But your future spouse definitely has been trying to connect with someone, probably for quite some time right now. And that's why it says you're trying too hard, give it time. Because, I've heard it said, and I feel like this is probably going to be the way for many people, including myself. It's like when you're not really looking for love or for your future spouse or whatever, that's when they're going to show up in your life. So I feel like that's part of it. And if once they've relaxed with the whole dating thing, like they'll also be able to connect with you a lot easier. So what else do we have here? We have Aries, act. So they've definitely been doing a lot of that. I get that they're not really shy, about the whole dating thing. Like they're out there, they're putting themselves out there, they're meeting people, they're hustling. We have Uranus, change. And we have first house, arrival. Oh my goodness. I'm seeing here that they are having to change the way they act for your arrival into their life. They have to have a new approach, a new way of dating, a new way of doing things. Okay, let's see what the rest of these cards are. I just get so excited, y'all, when I get these downloads and these messages, and I'm so afraid I'm gonna forget them as I reveal more cards. But I need to just take it easy. I know Spirit is guiding me to deliver any messages you need to hear. I should just trust in that. So we have caring connections. Oh, okay. Seventh chakra, Archangel Uriel. This is interesting. I wonder if we're gonna get more insight on that with the tarot cards, or if I'll need to draw some more cards to clarify that. And for your tarot cards, we have Two of Coins, the Emperor, Judgment, Three of Wands, and Seven of Cups. Okay, so definitely let's go back to this dating thing. So, I have to say, out of all three of the readings so far, your future spouse is probably the most social, the most sort of daring, kind of out there kind of personality, right? They have no problem talking to people, talking to strangers. That's one of their strengths, and it's an element that they feel very, very comfortable with. But what I'm seeing here is kind of they may be a bit rigid in the ways in which they interact with other people. Why do I say that? I say that here because we have the Emperor card. And I also see this Three of Wands kind of working together with this message. So the Emperor is all about structure, about order, about laws, how things are supposed to be done, the rules that have to be followed. And they're kind of a bit stuck in that, right? They feel like this is the way that people meet each other. This is how you find your perfect match, the person you're going to marry, right? It's very much like this sort of older way of dating, where it's the man goes to ask the woman, right? And the man has to have the great job, the wonderful house. They have to be well put together. They have to be able to provide for the woman, protect the woman. And it's like the man has to ask her out. The man plans the date. The man drives the car. The man pays for, like, it's this very like heavy, heavy masculine energy. And for those of you that, are attracted to women or female identified or more feminine type people, like they just kind of still have this like idea of the roles that people have to play when it comes to this dance of romance, of dating, of getting to know each other. And honestly, I had a hard time with this myself, right? When I was learning to date, where, when I first came out and I still really strongly identified with masculine identity, it's kind of like I felt like who was the man in our relationship, because it's two guys dating. Like, who pays the bill, who opens the door, who drives, who's like the more aggressive or assertive one when it comes to initiating physical contact and intimacy, like all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like there were all these rules and laws, and I have to stay in my lane, stay in my role, and that's kind of what your future spouse is reconciling. Kind of making sense of, because nowadays there's so many people who are very independent and self-sufficient, and a lot of these gender norms, gender roles are kind of dissolving, right? I know women who ask someone else to ask their partner to marry them, and it's not the man asking them to marry, right? I know where some relationships where the woman earns more money, or the more feminine person in the relationship earns more money. And with the whole stay-at-home dads, so there's like the dynamic is shifting and changing, and it could just be like maybe their upbringing that has them in this more maybe even outdated sort of like dating practices and rituals, and so they're needing to adapt that. Okay. I'm hearing that maybe they've been told that they come off a bit aggressive to some people, right? A little bit too bossy, a little bit too controlling. And that's what they're trying to reel in here, okay? Because again, they had this vision of how things are supposed to be related to the Emperor energy. And they need to bring it all into balance, okay? And what I'm seeing here is, they have a lot of options. So I wouldn't be surprised if your future spouse is really attractive and, gets a lot of attention from the opposite sex, or, if you're in same-sex kind of relationships, like the same sex, right? But they get a lot of attention because of their looks. And so they have a lot of options around them. But sometimes, when we have too much options, we tend to get really confused, and we end up not getting what we really want, and maybe we make choices that don't really align so well. Have you ever been to like a restaurant where there's so many good options on the menu? I'm really thinking of like Cheesecake Factory right now. How many of you have eaten at Cheesecake Factory? Let me know in the comments below. It's like, there's like a little booklet is their menu. There's like so many things you can order. Oh my God, there's a sushi place I went to when I was in Bali too. It was like this huge menu. It was so big. It was like out of control. And it's like, I go in having an idea of what I want to eat, and then you take a look at the menu and so many things look good, and then you're just confused now. You don't know what you want to eat. And there have been a couple of occasions, maybe you can relate to this, where you order something and you don't feel satisfied or fulfilled from your meal because you were maybe craving something else, but this other thing sounded good too, and you just went with that other thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm seeing here with them, where it's like they have so many options before them, and they're just like picking and going at random. And I feel too like they're a fast mover. It's like whoever says yes first, that's where I'm gonna go. Do you know what I'm saying? And really, I'm feeling like they need to be a little bit more selective, right? And they really need to find out like what is it that they really want, because I feel like right now they're kind of like playing this role, and they think by playing this role they're going to find you, they're going to attract you, And I feel like there's this shedding of their identity that needs to happen here, right? That they need to let their guard down, let their walls down, and stop being who they think their future spouse wants them to be and just be themselves. And then they'll attract their true partner, which is you, right? They need to let down those walls, let down that guard. It's kind of like, again, with this sort of maybe toxic masculinity energy where it's like men shouldn't cry, men shouldn't reveal their feelings, men need to be tough, whatever that's been, perpetuated for centuries, I feel like, where it's like they just need to let that down. They need to stop faking it. And then they can find these caring connections because that's what they really want. Like, let's be honest, like everybody wants to love somebody and feel loved in return. People want to feel like someone cares for them, but you can't really care for anybody if you don't know who they are, right? If they're like faking who they are, they're lying, they're hiding things from you, how can you really care for them? Like, I feel like that tends to bring out a little bit of maybe distrust or falsity in the relationship, right? Because you can only maintain a facade for so long before your true colors come out. And so I really feel like this need that they need to be very honest with themselves, what they want, who they are, and stop being somebody else that they think they should be. The dangers of the should be this, should do that, should look this way, should happen this way. Like all those need to go for them. Okay, so they're trying to find you, they're adapting their methods. Okay, they're trying new things, and I feel like that could be how you connect if you haven't already. Now, this seventh chakra archangel Uriel, I am not really sure what that card is trying to tell me. I'm getting like this black hole here. So let's find out what is going on with that. Let's see if your future spouse, with the aid of spirit, of universe, can clarify what is this seventh chakra archangel Uriel energy all about? What is trying to come through? Okay, so we have the Queen of Cups, the Ten of Swords, and the Four of Cups. So I'm sensing a lot of disappointment coming through. I don't know if maybe they're disappointed in themselves, they're disappointed in the people they're dating, right? Like maybe their tactics towards dating, they're like, oh, like they're finding a lot of lemons, right? A lot of mismatches in the dating pool here. But really, again, it's because that's who they're projecting themselves to be. So if you're like not being true to yourself, you're going to be attracting people who are not a true match for you. Make sense? Right? I mean, I don't even know why I'm explaining this to you because it's like something your future spouse needs to know. But just so you understand what's happening here, I guess. So they need to kind of let that go. What I'm hearing also, and I heard this a little bit earlier, is that for some of you, your future spouse actually carries a lot of shame, okay? Part of the reason why they're trying to look so good on paper is because they feel ashamed about their past. Like maybe they had some problems with substances or alcohol abuse in the past. Like I have to commend some people that I've seen on social media who have, shared that they were a substance user or an alcoholic in the past, but now that they're, sober for however many months, however many years, and they've shared their success and sometimes even their slip-ups when it comes to their sobriety journey, okay? Because, society really shames that. And honestly, I think, everyone has their own path and journey in life, right? Like we all come into life with different lessons to learn. But what I find so beautiful and so admirable about people who are sober now is like it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, and a lot of belief and love for yourself to maintain your health in that way. And that's amazing. And sometimes I don't understand why people can't support people on their sobriety journey. I hear a lot of stories about people like trying to say, hey, it's just one drink, just one hit, whatever the case may be, like it's gonna be fine. Like sometimes when you are immersed in addiction, the people around you are also having addictive behavior, right? That becomes your social circle. And so that becomes like your world, what you know. And when you choose to step out of that circle, part of it is letting some of those people out of your life and letting new people into your life. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of endings here for this person. We already talked about endings, like new tactics, new strategies for dating, but really embracing this new version of themselves, which is like honest with who they are, who loves themselves for all their successes and triumphs, but also for all their mistakes and their faults, like learning how to love themselves, okay? So there's a lot of emotional healing happening here for them, where there's this cleansing, is what I'm getting. There just has to be this cleansing of their process. So they're hoping that by being a little bit more honest with who they are, changing the way they interact with others, that they'll be able to really match up with someone who's going to love them for who they are, for their past, their present, and want to have a future with them. All right? So I don't know, if you're on that dating platform, like maybe I'm hearing trust your gut instincts, like maybe look at the images more or look at the words more, and for someone that you might not normally give that person a chance, maybe you might want to trust your gut instinct that's saying like, hey, click, I don't know, what is it? Swipe right if you like them? Swipe right on this person, or double tap and give them a heart, or whatever it is, okay? So trust your gut, trust your instinct on this. Because they're really trying to connect with you in a very authentic and real way, okay? Oh, and I'm seeing the judgment card. We didn't focus too much on that, but I'm guessing that's, again, reinforcing this notion that they're judging themselves and they're thinking other people are going to judge them. So they're trying to let go of a lot of that. So let me know what you thought, though. Like this reading, comment down below. I claim my future spouse. I welcome my future spouse into my life to set that vibrational tone in there so you can connect with them sooner if you haven't already. If you enjoyed this reading, you love the vibes here, make sure you tap that subscribe button, because I do a lot of future spouse readings. I do a lot of future self, destiny, pathway readings, as well as like surprises coming down the pipeline for you. So turn the notifications on, of course, if you want to be notified when an upload is available for you. And then lastly, before you go, just remember it's never too late for your happily ever after. You deserve nothing but the best, nothing but happiness in your life. I'll see you all next time, loves. Take care.